Well, hello. Welcome to your 2022-2023 school year. If you're watching this, it's because you have me for English or possibly Avid. I teach English 11, 10, and Avid 10. So this video is just going to be me going over what we talk about week one. Week one is, simple back to school stuff, going over things you can expect in class, the syllabus, all that. We're not going to actually get to any content really until I would say week 3 in terms of like starting a unit, but this is good information to have. So, hi, if you have never met me before or have never had me as a teacher, my name is Mrs. Albritton. I'll tell you kind of quickly just some things about me so you get to kind of know who I am. This year, I am teaching 2 classes of English 10, 3 of English 11, and 1 section of Avid 10. This is my 4th year at West Salem High School. Technically, this is my 3rd year of teaching, but I'm calling it my 4th because I was here when I was a student teacher back in 2019, 2020. So this is my 4th year here at West. I grew up in Monmouth, Independence, just 20 minutes down the road. So I've lived in Oregon and the Willamette Valley essentially my whole life. I went to Chemeketa Community College right after high school, and then I transferred to Western Oregon, and that's where I got my teaching degree. And I'm currently in school as well. I'm also a student to be getting my master's in curriculum and instruction. So that's background on education. 3 random facts about myself. I do not like bananas. Bananas are not my thing. I have never liked them. The smell, the taste. You put them in a smoothie. No, thank you. Bananas are not it. I coach both girls and boys volleyball. Last year, myself and Miss Royal, another teacher here at West, started a boys volleyball team, and we are trying to get it eventually recognized by OSAA to become a thing in Oregon. But for now, we're doing like a boys volleyball club team, which has been really fun. This is a picture from a tournament we had last year in Portland. I met my husband during high school, and he went to West Salem High School. I did not. As I said, I grew up in Monmouth, Independence, but we met during high school and have known each other since we were 16, 17 years old. Surfaces is my all-time favorite band. Anytime you are in my room, you're probably going to hear their music playing, at least during passing time. I love them. They're the best. I am a Duck fan. I didn't necessarily grow up a Duck fan because my parents are from California and we moved here when I was in kindergarten. So it was always about UCLA or the Lakers because of my dad. But my husband is the world's biggest Duck fan, and I have grown to love them just as much as he does. I serve at AYC. It's the youth group at my church, and I absolutely love it. It's fun to get to see students in and outside of school in that way. Lastly, volleyball, as I said, is a major hobby for me. I played all throughout middle school and high school, and I still love to play and coach um, as often as I can. I am a big MCU and Star Wars fan, which sometimes I feel like that's everybody, but I really, really do love it. I grew up with Marvel, and as of recently, I've become quite a big Star Wars fan. And then another passion of mine is learning about health and wellness. I honestly, if I wasn't teaching, I probably would do something in that area because it's really fascinating to me, and I've learned a lot in the last few years. This is my family, just a couple pictures. Like I said, my husband and I met when we were in high school. So, luckily, both sides of our families are very close and we do lots of stuff together all the time. I have one sister and one sister in law. So, this is going to lean into kind of my philosophy. This is why I became a teacher, why I teach just in general. I have a huge passion to empower and encourage young people. I will tell you this very frequently throughout the school year. I don't like it when adults talk to young people, to teenagers or young adults, and say, like, oh, you don't know anything. You're just a kid. You haven't experienced this. You don't know. Or they kind of treat you like you're nothing because you're young. And I totally, totally disagree with that. I think that you have a perspective and a voice that really matters. I think that despite being young, you have experienced a lot of things in your life, and it is impactful to other people to know what you've gone through. And I love that my job is being able to encourage you to use your voice and to make a difference in people's lives, regardless of how young you are. And then, of course, just education in general is super powerful. It changes everything. When you have an education, when you take it seriously, when you pursue it for yourself, it really does change everything. So, why I teach language arts specifically, if I had to sum it up in one word, it would be stories. I have always been fascinated and intrigued by stories in all different forms. Could be movies, TV shows, books, uh, just somebody telling you a story about something that happened to them, listening to people's autobiographies. I think stories are incredible and they connect people in ways that lots of other things can't, especially knowing how diverse and different everybody is in the world. Stories are so interesting, and I think from the youngest of ages, we can really feel connected and understood through stories. So that's why I love teaching language arts. I teach AVID because I want to empower and encourage my students to dream big while giving them the tools to make their dream a reality. Personally, AVID, so AVID is, if you are unfamiliar, if you're in AVID, your goal is to eventually go to a 4-year university to succeed and grow outside of high school, to contribute to society. And personally, I don't think that you have to go to college to do big and important things in life. I think that college is necessary depending on what you want to do. And for the students that I teach that are in AVID, they want to go to college. And I think that's awesome. And so my goal is to encourage and empower them, to accomplish what they want to get into the college that they want to, and to um, dream big and figure out what they want to do with their life. So, this is my teaching philosophy. This kind of covers everything. I want you to be thinking about these things as we start this school year, because I'm sure you're coming into my class, into all of your classes, with a pre-existing expectation or idea of what you think it's going to be like based off of just assumptions that you make or what you've heard other people say. And I want you to know that this is my heart and this is where I'm coming from, and I try to make this as consistent and evident in everything that I do all throughout the year. So number one, these are also and they're not in any particular order, but number one, I'm here to teach you how to think, not what to think. I think a lot of times the older we get, people lean the other way and they tell you what to think and not how. My job is to teach you how to think, to be critical thinkers, to evaluate things that are being said to you, that you're researching, to look at something and say, do I agree with this? Do I not? And that's my overall goal by the end of this. I want you to learn how to think, not just me telling you what to think. I want you to focus on the learning and not having the right answer. This is really big for me because we get very stuck into this mode of, I'm going to not raise my hand and ask questions. I'm not going to participate. I don't want to do anything unless I know for sure that I'm right. I can't get out of this little box of perfection that I'm trying to create. But that's not real learning. Real learning happens when we make mistakes and we try new things and we're not afraid to fail. So I promise you, if you focus on learning, on actually enjoying the process of learning in this class, you're not going to have to worry about your grade, because your grade will be just fine. Please don't worry about being perfect. It's not going to happen. Number three, please take care of yourself mentally, emotionally, physically. You are a layered human being, and human beings need to be taken care of. You're not going to be able to do your best, perform your best in class. You're not going to be able to fully appreciate and engage in everything that we do if you're not taking care of yourself. If you're falling asleep, if you're having a hard time, um, I would hope that at some point in the year, hopefully by the very beginning, you would feel comfortable coming up to me and saying, "Hey, Miss Albrin, I'm having a really hard day," or "I had a really rough week, and I just want you to know that I'm not myself right now," or "Things are really hard for me and I'm going to try, but I just want you to know what's going on." You don't have to tell me all the details of everything happening in your life, but I would hope that you would feel comfortable to let me know, because it's important that you communicate and that I'm here for you. Number four, I want you to approach new things with a growth mindset. This kind of leans into point number two. We'll talk more about a growth mindset later, and I'm sure some of you have already heard of it, especially if you had me last year. A growth mindset means that you are not confident that you're going to succeed at everything, but you're confident in your ability to try and give your best effort. Having a fixed mindset, which is the opposite, means that you don't feel like you're capable of change in any form or fashion, that everything's going to stay stuck. You can't grow, you can't get better. That's not true, by the way, but I want you to really, every time you walk into my door, I want you to try to approach everything with a growth mindset, no matter how difficult or how comfortable you feel with whatever we're learning or doing or trying. And then lastly, I expect effort and not perfection. I recognize that you are human beings before your students, and I try to view you from that lens always because it's the truth. You are a human being before you're anything else. And I want you to just give me your best effort. That's honestly all I ask. I want you to try. I want you to do your best. Your best is not going to be perfect. My best is not going to be perfect as your teacher, but I'm going to try and give my best effort and really put care and attention into what I do. And I just ask that you would do the same, because I promise you, you're going to see a lot of good things come out of it when you put forth your best effort instead of just trying to be perfect all the time. So here are some things about how to get a hold of me. I have a sign outside of my window in my classroom that says office hours, and it just shows you every day of the week, morning, before school and after school, when I'm available. So if it's crossed out, that means I can't meet, I've got another meeting or something I'm doing, or it'll tell you a time that I'll be available. If my door is open, please walk in. I will always have my door open if I'm available. The only time you'll see my door shut is if I'm gone or if I'm like on a virtual meeting and I cannot have anybody come in. But other than that, my door is pretty much always open. And then here is my email as well. So I want to go over, let's see, these slides. These are going to be things, this is the last thing I'll talk about in this video. These are going to be things that we talk about during the first week. We'll probably do this on Thursday and Friday, depending on what day you have me, A or B day. This is going to be an interactive activity you do in class where there are stations set up around the room, and you're going to go through and look at them and observe and take some notes, and then we'll talk about it as a whole class. But in case for some reason you don't have me this week or you're gone, here's me reviewing what we talk about. So station number 1 is the syllabus. If you go onto Canvas, it's going to be located on there. Let's see if I can pull it up here. It should look like this. So this is the syllabus. It looks essentially the same for English 11. It's just this part is different. So the class overview tells you what you can expect. For all of my classes, we are going to be doing proficiency grading, which is pretty common for the English department. Other subjects might not do proficiency, but that essentially means instead of earning points, if you're unfamiliar, you are going to earn numbers on a scale. So 1 being below proficient, 2 being approaching, 3 being proficient, meaning you've met the standards and you pass, 4 being you've done more than enough and you've shown that you're extremely proficient. Now, this is going to be frustrating for some of us. I understand, because the typical mode of grading is through points and the scale looks different. So in my class, based off of the math that I've done for the pie chart and how this all works out, if you get an A, that means you will have anywhere from 100% to an 80%. Typically with standard like points-based grading, an 80 would mean you have like a really low B, but that's not the case with how this grading works. So if you have anywhere from an 80 to 100, you have an A. 79.99 to 60 is a B, and so on. You can see it on the screen. If this is confusing, I understand it might take some time to get used to, but please refer back to this so that you don't freak out and think that your grade is lower than it is, because it's usually probably not. This little pie chart shows you the percentages, the weights of what's going on. So I have 2 categories that are broken down into 2 subcategories. So there's essentially 4. You're going to have reading and writing assignments. And then within that, you will have summative and formative. Summative means like an essay that you do at the end of the unit or a big project. It's kind of like the big final thing that you're doing before you move on to something else. Formative is going to be like our weekly assignments, things that we do to practice. So that'll be weighted. Formative will be weighted 20% for writing, 20% for reading. Summative writing is 30 and summative reading is 30. So summative is 60 and formative is 40. 2020, 30, 30. You can take a second and pause this video to read the rest of what's on the screen here. Also, if you scroll down, this will be, if you would like a printed version of this, please let me know, but this is all obviously on Canvas as well. We are doing embedded honors. It's something that the district is having all classes do at the high school level. So if you want some more information about embedded honors, we'll talk more about it in class next week, but this is all on the syllabus. So, okay, classroom tour, that's something you'll do in person. The Get to Know Me Google form, you'll see these posted in my room, and you need to please fill them out. They're also linked on Canvas. Okay, routines and rhythms. This is going to be the bulk of what I want to finish in this video. This is going to be stuff you can expect to be consistent, things that we do on a typical regular basis, things of how I structured the class. So every day when you walk in, the first thing that we'll do after the bell rings is take attendance, and I do this using some fun attendance questions. My classes last year really liked doing this, and so I wanted to keep doing it, and I think it's fun because I get to know you better. So I'll give you a question, something like this. That's a yes or no, or a this or that, and when I go through and say names, instead of saying here or present, you'll answer the question. We will have a weekly Google slide. You can think of this as a like digital version of a notebook. Usually English teachers give you like a physical notebook, but I think that this works better for me. So, and it has for all of my students, they've said that they prefer this. So this will be what we do for a weekly basis. For assignments, we will go through the slides during class. And essentially by the end of the week on Friday, you should be able to turn this in, no problem being done with it. Which leads me to the second point. Because that's how I run my class and we go through the slides and work through them together, you will rarely have homework. I won't say that you'll never have it, because sometimes you will, but it'll be extremely, extremely rare. My philosophy and reasoning behind this is that you work hard, you're in school all day long, 8 hours a day. A lot of you have jobs or sports or other things that you have to do when you get home. And the last thing that you need is to be stressed out about homework and trying to complete something that you're probably not even focusing on the learning of it. You're just trying to get it done. So, here are my expectations with that. Use your time wisely in class. If you don't finish what we're working on in class, it's going to become homework. And that's 99% of the time because you're not using your time wisely, not because there will be some circumstances where maybe I underestimate how long it takes us to get through something and we need more time. Then I will say, hey, we're going to continue on this the next class. So don't worry about finishing it at home. I'll tell you that. I'll make it clear to you. And if you have questions or need help, or if you feel like you're really struggling with the content, please ask me. Don't expect that just because you struggle or don't understand means you have to have homework. I want you to get help from me. This is something that I had last year, but I didn't stick to it very well. And I'm going to try to be better about that, because to be the best teacher I can be means I have to set boundaries, because it's really easy to work essentially 24/7. So my 4 p.m. policy is that after 4 p.m. during the weekdays or on the weekend, I will not be looking at my email or responding to emails. So if you email me anytime after school or on the weekends and you don't get an immediate response from me, please know I'm not ignoring you. I'm just trying to take a breather and not do work when I'm not supposed to be at work. If something is urgent, I understand. Maybe send me an email and type urgent at the beginning or in the title, just so I know. Periodically, sometimes every once in a while, I'll look at my email, but I never respond to anything after school or on weekends. I was absent. What did I miss? You are already viewing one of the videos, so you found at least where these videos are going to be at. If you are sick, if you're gone on vacation, you're gone for whatever reason, before you come to me and ask me what you missed, please go and watch the video. Usually the videos, they're going over my weekly Google slides, and they're usually anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes long. You can fast forward what you need to. If you have questions after that, then you can ask me. Our class periods this year last year our class schedule, I need to look at it again. It was 90 minutes per period. This year it's going to be, I think, somewhere around 70 or 75. That's still quite a long time to just do something without taking a break. So I will give you a break halfway through class, and these are a list of things that you can do during that break. Otherwise, please stay focused and on task. This is something that I did last year with all my classes. I didn't get to do it the year before because that was when we were all online for distance learning. And I really loved it. And all of my students last year said that they loved it as well. So there will be several times throughout each semester where you will get to do some check ins with me. Part of this will be checking in on whatever project or assignment we're working on. Usually it's a bigger summative assignment. And it'll also be a chance for me to just connect with you, talk to you, see how you're doing, how's life outside of school, that sort of thing. And I really appreciate the time that we get to do this. When we schedule this, the people that are not meeting with me individually, like when it's not your turn, you'll be working on whatever assignment we're about to turn in. So it'll be some work time. Okay, and then lastly, grades. I said when going over the syllabus, we do proficiency grading. So if you look at that scale, that'll tell you what you need to know about that. Lastly, here are some expectations, things that I want to hold you accountable to. It is a school-wide cell phone policy that's you're not supposed to use your phone in class unless the teacher tells you otherwise. There are only 2 times that you can have your phone out in class. When we're on a break or if you need it specifically for an activity. Like let's say I tell you to pull it out for Kahoot or we're going to scan a QR code. That's an appropriate time to use it. Other than that, please, pretty please, put it away. I don't want to see it. I work really hard to create all of this stuff for you and to make class really fun and engaging. And when you're on your phone, it's kind of a slap in the face and very disrespectful because it's like, well, I don't care about Miss Albritton, all the effort she put into class, so I'm just going to go on my phone. So please, please put it away. I get hungry all the time. So I understand if you need to eat in class. My 2 rules with that, you can as long as you clean up after yourself and it's not a distraction from learning. If you're like crinkling paper or making a mess everywhere, that's not going to fly. Please don't do that. Other than that, I really don't care if you eat a snack. Totally fine. And then the late work policy. This is something that I've been revising throughout the years, and it's been worked out fairly well the most recent second semester of last year. So we have 6-week grading periods. I want you to treat every 6 weeks like a box. Once we move out of that 6 weeks and into a new one, whatever was assigned and due during that prior 6 weeks is going to become a locked box and you cannot submit anything to me. I do this for several reasons. One, I want you to learn just to not procrastinate and to take care of things on time. And I also want you to learn self advocacy. So let's say something really big happens in your life and it causes lots of distraction from school and it's been a hard time, or I don't know, maybe there's just another circumstance going on in life that's pulling you away from getting your work done. As long as you have a valid reason for not turning in something on time, talk to me and we can work it out. I want you to communicate, but I really, really want you to take some ownership of submitting stuff on time and taking care of that because that's really important. And then lastly, participation. Class is going to be so much more fun if you participate, if you're not just sitting, if you're not just silent, talking during class discussions, asking questions, having everything ready to go, putting your phone away. I promise you, we're going to have a lot of fun in class and you're going to learn and you're going to have room to challenge yourself. And that's only going to happen if you decide to participate. So please do so. So that is it for just kind of an overview of what's going to happen during the first week of school. If you have questions about any of this, please let me know. But other than that, I will see you soon.